when you grow up as a pastor's kid, there's a lot of pressure on you. I thought growing up was very unfair. Sa bahay namin, bawal yung hindi nagtatrabaho. The pressure was really more external than it was internal.
What was the biggest lesson that you got out of that experience?
My mental health was declining. I knew that there was something wrong. That's when I started really running to him instead of running away from him.
What did you see in content?
I knew I wanted to be in the entertainment world. I have to try now or never.
Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I am your host. And again, thank you so much for being here. Maraming salamat sa lahat na nag-click on this episode. I'm super excited for you guys to experience this episode because today I have a very, very special guest. A guest that you may have seen on TikTok, on Instagram, just sharing the very viral trending dancing videos with her sister. But more importantly, she also hosts a podcast called The Sister Act. And I'm just really happy because when I met, I think this is the second time that I met her in person, but she just has this very positive and light energy. And I'm just really happy na ngayon makakakwentuhan ko siya. Let's see kung paano ba siya napunta talaga dito sa journey na to in content creation. So, let's all welcome to the show, Nica. Nica, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me. The pressure for positive is a lot, ha? Baka hindi pala positive ako.
But yeah, thank you so much. I know this is your first time guesting on a podcast.
Yes, this is my first time.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous.
Okay, don't worry. We're just gonna ilalabas lang naman natin yung mga sikreto mo dito. So,
okay, no problem. I'm ready for it.
Okay.
I came mentally prepared.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but you host the podcast, The Sister Act. Can you share a little bit about what The Sister Act is?
Well, that I wasn't prepared for. Well, The Sister Act was, I'm going to be very honest, it's all Bea's concept. She told me, I think, last year, and she was just like, I want to start a podcast with you, and I think she just wanted to have real conversations. And the topics that we came up at the time when we were conceptualizing it was just really what we were going through. Like we have a mental health one, we have a weight episode, we have stuff with their family. I think that was the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, we just wanted it to be relatable topics and we wanted it to be casual, which we are very casual in. I mean, that's basically, and I guess we call ourselves virtual sisters. So maybe because a lot of people in our dance series would say, can you adopt me as a sister? And I guess that's something we wanted to bring into our podcast, like just having kausap, diba? Parang just like we're in the room having a regular conversation about, let's say, relationships or your struggle with your weight or your body. It was really just for that. Yeah.
I think the concept really is very unique. I don't know any kind of podcast here in the Philippines that like really talks about, sisterhood and like the things na pinag-uusapan ng, di ba, ng magkapatid na babae talaga. So I think you're really a lot of people are really resonating with your content.
Yeah.
So congrats on that.
It's funny, it came out. I don't know if it came out before Nobody Wants This. Because in Nobody Wants This, it's their sisters, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it came out right before or right after. And so people were like, oh my gosh, you guys are like the girls in Nobody Wants This. And we were like, the timing is so
no, they're
perfect.
like us.
Yeah, they're like us. Actually, we conceptualized this much earlier.
But how's the like doing the podcast different from like the contents that you're creating on social?
Ooh, okay. It's very different for me, at least, because Bea's been on the radio for basically all of her working life. For me, I haven't done a lot of communicating, at least publicly. And it's different for me because I think the conversations in our podcast are a lot more vulnerable than I am on my social media, I guess. Because, on social media, we're laughing. Diba? Parang tawa-tawa lang. Everything's fine. And then you get to the podcast where I'm talking about my mental health and my journey with my mental health, or things with our family that we went through because we're pastors' kids, and you know, the difficulty of being a pastor's kid, and you know, stuff like that. So it's very different for me, and I really have to step out of my comfort zone every single time I step into an episode with her. For Bea, it's just, you know, she's just talking and it's so natural for her, and for me, I'm like squeezing my brain cells to come up with things to say.
So, I think pag na-meet nyo rin si Bea, talaga super natural.
Yes.
Like
she's a host.
Yeah, she just creates the conversation.
Yes.
Like,
she knows how to direct it.
Yeah.
And I follow her lead. I did a hosting thing in February. It was my very first, by myself at least. And I remember waking up the next day thinking, wow, I never want to do that again. Not that I can't do it. I feel like I can. You know, if you ask me to host, sure. Great. But do I like the feeling? Parang I don't know. Maybe I just have to get used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm still getting used to that. Yeah.
But I mean, just talking for you for like a few minutes, I really can see that you're really great at communicating. So
thank you. I'll take it.
You have I think that's naturally talented ka na dun. But now I'm curious. Like you mentioned kanina, one of the things that you shared on the podcast is that you grew up as a pastor's kid.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think I read it somewhere na may ganong vibe nga daw kayo na binibigay. Like pastor's kid vibe. So nung mention mo siya.
Meron ba?
Parang, okay. So you mentioned that you're a pastor's kid. How was that for you?
First muna, ano yung vibe? Anong ibig sabihin
I think,
nun?
parang you just know na, so meron kasing parang vibe. Like for example, sila, Hana Pangilinan.
Yes.
Right? I'm not even sure if they're like, hindi yata siya pastor's kid.
They're not pastor's kids, but they did grow up in church.
Yun. So parang grew up in church na very, I could say parang well off din. Okay. In a sense na parang strong household dad na really parang weekly merong guidance and mentorship and all the words of wisdom na pinasa down sa mga anak nila. So was that true for you as well?
Yes, it was most definitely the same for us. Growing up as a pastor's kid, I'm gonna be very honest, it really isn't easy, because when you're, how do I say this without it not looking bad? When you grow up as a pastor's kid, there's a lot of pressure on you, obviously, because there are standards that they have for you that they don't have for themselves, called double standards. And I thought growing up was very unfair because, you know, for me in my head, if we're all in the same church, then we should all have the same standard. But I guess when you're in positions of leadership, you know, I guess there's a bigger platform for you, right? And so there's bigger responsibility for you to take care of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that growing up. I thought of it as it's just unfair. Like, why do they expect me to be a certain way when for them, okay lang. Let's say, you know, dating somebody and I'm young, they're like, ay, dapat hindi yan kasi anak ng pastor yan. But them, they can do it. Okay lang. So bakit ako hindi? You know what I mean? But then I guess now that I'm older, I was like, okay, well, there was, you know, the responsibility of leadership was on us. And I should have seen that more as a, you know, a privilege or something to take care of. But when I was younger, obviously and more immature, I didn't see it that way. So it was definitely hard growing up.
Yeah. I'm so curious about this. Kasi parang I grew up, anong religion nyo, by the way?
We're born again Christians.
Born again Christians. Yeah. Okay. So my background was I was Catholic. Or I am Catholic. Was baptized as a Catholic. And then yung mga tita ko, they were born again Christians. Yeah. So they invited me. They were always inviting me to Sunday school, like learning about the Bible, ganyan. And I think parang nare-recall ko lang din yung experiences kasi nga, parang nakita ko rin yun sa mga pastor's kid na parang sila yung kailangan na pinaka-role model.
Yeah.
Tapos parang kami, hindi na parang okay lang kahit, di ba, after church mag-yosi ka or what gusto mong gawin sa buhay mo. Like, sure. Pero itong mga pastor's kid, like, kailangan kayo yung role model talaga.
Yeah.
So for me, parang ako, meron pa akong choice to like go to church or not. For you guys, what was the conversation like? I mean, from a dad or that is a pastor to you, like, how was the structure? Anong structure? Paano kayo nagko-communicate as a family?
About our religion.
About parang, religion or parang yung...
Just the rules
the rules to
life.
Buy.
Okay. Well, my parents naman never forced us. It was never like, because I'm a pastor, you need to be a Christian as well. My parents never did that to us, and they never also pressured us to, like people serve like in music or they sing or they usher, mga stuff like that. They never forced us, but they did encourage us. They prayed with us, you know what I mean? They encouraged us to read the Bible growing up.
Yeah.
But I think the pressure was really more external than it was internal. Obviously, our parents, if there were things that they didn't agree with, like say dating when we were younger, they're like, I don't agree. So they would say, I don't think you should do that. But it was never like, bawal kayo mag-date when you're in high school or when you're in college.
Yeah.
But when it came to like church and just the routines, it was, Sunday was for church, obviously. And it was up to you how you wanted to go about your walk with God. And really, we did just that. Because I would say I didn't really become a Christian until I was maybe in college.
How so?
I think it was a decision I made in college. Because, like, yes, I was born into it. Yes, I go to church, but I wasn't really like, okay, I'm a Christian and I'm following whatever it is that God wants for me. It was like, I'm going to figure this out and then bahala na. So it was really, I think, in college where I was like, you know what? I might actually agree with my parents. I'm gonna take this seriously now.
Okay.
I think that's really when I took it seriously.
Well, what was the shift in college?
Desperation.
What do you mean? Okay.
My mental health was declining. In college, I already knew I had some mental health issues in high school that I could not, I guess, identify at such a young age. But I knew that there was something wrong. I knew that there was something wrong in college. And so I think that is when I started really just praying to God, like, okay, Lord, like, when are you going to make me feel better? Or when are you going to heal me from this sadness? And I think that's when I started really running to Him instead of running away from Him. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Desperation.
You have no choice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when, usually that's when God actually like saves you. Like, okay, it's my turn.
Yes, because it's really like you're trying to control your life, diba? So in high school, parang I'm gonna do it how I want to. I don't care if they say I need to do it this way. I don't care if my parents think I should do this. I'm gonna decide, and I did decide how I wanted to live my life, and it didn't go well. And so I was like, maybe try a different strategy this time around.
Yeah. That makes sense. What's your major in college?
I took organizational development in De La Salle University.
Okay. All right. Did you get the chance to practice that?
I did. I did actually. I worked in HR for about a year and a half, and I enjoyed it. This was like right a little bit after college, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't something I knew I wanted to stay in. So yeah, I did get to practice my degree for a bit.
Okay. And then did you try looking for other jobs?
I have a very unique job history.
Okay.
So out of college, I worked for my mom. I worked for my mom. My mom is an insurance broker. So I'm so sorry, let me just silent this. my mom has an insurance agency, and my mom was kind of telling me in high school na, you can take over the business, just kind of like planting those seeds in my head. You're going to be a girl boss and, but I knew I wanted to be in the entertainment world. And so I had conversations with my parents when I was young about that, about dancing or acting or showbiz. And my parents, I guess, really talked to me about it. Like, you really need to think about that industry because it's not easy to be in. And my parents were friends with a lot of artists and artistas and at that time. And so, they knew what it was like. And my mom was also dancing. She had a show called Penthouse Gang. And so it was kind of like the ASAP before. And my mom was in it. And then my dad used to model. So they know what it was like. And so they really made me think about it. And so I think it made me confused. So that's why my mom was, like, you can take over the business. So I did.
Boss, yeah.
I worked with her for 6 months until I said, I gotta go my own way, Mom. This isn't who I am. And then I started teaching baby ballet.
Baby ballet.
Yes, I taught baby ballet and just like beginner ballet basically with my ballet teacher when I was younger. And then I also had a part-time job where I was an executive assistant. And then after a year of teaching baby ballet and doing the executive assistant HR role, I went full-time HR. So I stuck with that. And in 2019, I took a gap year. I went to New York. I wanted to take some courses in NYU.
Okay.
To see if I wanted to take a master's. But it was really just my escape because I didn't know what to do. Because I know a lot of people take masters when they don't know what to do.
It's the number one sign.
Right? These days, diba? Before, hindi natin alam yun eh. So I took a few courses and I realized I don't think I can study again. Okay. And then the pandemic hit when I came back. And I took a pandemic job, meaning I helped my friend's social media account. She was selling her luxury pieces on a social media platform. And I did that for about 2 years until I quit that. And then I worked in an events company, and then Bea and I started that series where I teach my sister how to dance. But it wasn't a plan. That brewed out of boredom. I came from a dance class that was like unplanned, as you people can see naman. And basically, when I was doing the events job, that the content part started opening up for me. And eventually, I let go of the events job. Yes. Not by choice. It was more of like if I stuck to the events job, I wouldn't have been able to do content. Because, when you're in events, that's a lot of hours. And and I was 28 at the time. And I said, it's just like now or never. So I'm just going to go at it full time. Maybe it wasn't the wisest decision, but I'm here today.
I mean, it's always the wisest decision that we're going to take. I'm really curious. During the times of like the shifts, did you have any, or like was there like a person, whether it be your dad or your mom or your ate, that would be your like parang rock or like really the anchor and that really pushes, motivated you, supported you all throughout?
Well, my family was I would say my family was very patient with my journey. As you can see, it was a colorful journey of jobs. But I will give it to Bea. So we're 4 girls. There's 2 above me and then there's 2 below me. So we have a boy pa. And Bea was the one that was always telling me something's gonna open up. Even before anything started, even before I was young, she would always tell me, keep dancing lang. And she didn't understand why she kept encouraging me. But she was the one that always said, no, you just have to keep dancing. In the pandemic, she goes, post your dance videos. And she didn't know what was going to open up. But she was that person that kept telling me, my best friend also was just like, you should put stuff out there. You should vlog or whatever. But I didn't understand. But she was really the one that kind of just pushed me to do that. My family, again, they didn't really know how to encourage me because they didn't know what I wanted.
Yeah.
But they were like, okay, if you want to do this, go. If you want to do this, go. They were never like, oh, I don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
Except when I went full-time content. My
Okay.
parents were not for it. Yes.
Did you have parang nagkaroon ba kayo ng conversation? Parang,
We had a
I'm gonna
sit-down dinner.
Okay.
They booked a dinner, and the it was very tense during that dinner. Kasi nga the purpose was to talk to me.
Okay.
And
so
so
parang intervention
Oh,
na. ganun.
confrontation siya. So I was like, what is happening? And then they were like, we think you should get a full-time job.
Okay.
And this was right after I quit my events job. And I was heartbroken. I was like crying. And this is in like a fine dining restaurant. So parang hindi siya classy. As in like crying, teleserye crying. Like, how could you do this to me? Don't you believe in my abilities? And I know they were coming from a good place, you know, where they just wanted security for me and, you know, they were thinking about my future. But me, it was just like, you're just attacking me and you don't believe in my talent.
Yeah.
But I just told them that day, I said, I don't agree with you. And I think that was the first time I ever said that to my parents and actually believed that I was really going to do this. And I said, I'm sorry, this is what I'm sticking to. And you might not agree with it, but this is what I'm doing.
Wow.
Yes, it was so very hard. And you know what? They're okay now, you know. I mean, it took a while because they were like, "Hey, are you getting booked for work?" Parang they were kind of like checking in, you know, if I was okay. May pera ka ba, you know. But now they're like, "Okay, like we trust that you made the right decision." And yeah. So
I mean, for sure they're just coming from a good place din talaga. I mean, I think like wala namang magulang na ang intention is like to hurt their children.
Meron namang iba actually.
Meron iba. Medyo crazy. No, but parang for me, I could just sense na parang they were just really looking out for you in their lenses.
Yes.
Because they couldn't see what you're seeing
and
in content.
They don't understand it then. You know, like they are an older generation that doesn't understand social media just yet. And I guess maybe they didn't understand that, you know, marketing is different these days. It's not all just commercials or TV anymore. It's Instagram and TikTok, and they didn't get it just yet, but they do now. So it took a while.
Curious ako, how about your ate during that time? Andun ba siya sa dinner?
She was there. She was there, but quiet lang siya.
Okay.
And, you know, she would like, you know, say, no, I think Nica can do this. Or, you know, but obviously, parang this is for you to fight for. Like, I can't fight this for you. You have to want this. You have to believe in yourself. Because if it's just me pushing you, then I don't think tatagal din ako dito. Parang,
What's the biggest lesson? Like, you sharing that. What was the biggest lesson that you got out of that experience?
Out of the confrontation with my parents.
I mean, now looking back and seeing now, they're also okay with it na.
Yeah.
Na parang, you're okay, you're doing well na, may pera ka. Like, good job, keep doing it. But again, looking back, there was the time na may ganun nga. And you like really fighting for it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the biggest lesson from that?
I think the biggest lesson I have from that time is to really, I guess, trust your gut. I think that's not something we how do I explain this? That's not something we just have initially. It's something we need to train ourselves to do. You know what I mean? Like parang trusting your gut or your intuition is like it's like training yourself, right? You don't get it right at the first time.
Yeah.
But I felt in my gut a long time ago that I wanted to be in this industry, even at a young age. And I didn't know how it was going to be expressed. I didn't know what doors were going to open for me. But I did feel that was the time for me.
Yeah.
And so I would say that to trust your gut, even if the people around you don't feel the same way. Because people might not agree with you. Again, my parents are such a big influence in my life. And so for them to tell me, get a full-time job, was so huge for me. Like, okay, am I making a mistake? Am I taking the wrong step? Is this going to ruin me? Am I,
Yeah.
am I gonna be broke? You're thinking about all of these things. And I really just was like, you know what? I have to try now or never.
Yeah.
So it was really that for me. I think you just have to be brave about it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, on point. And thank you for sharing that. I
Thank
think
you.
also because there's parang I think these moments are what kind of like defines, our stories din eh. Na
Yes.
parang
Yeah.
yung pinaka like heartbreaking
Yeah.
moments, like so much pressure, but still like we muster up the courage to
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm gonna fight for it.
And you just have to try. I mean,
Yeah.
like you've been doing this for how long, right?
Yeah.
And I think the hardest part about it is trying. You need to try, because if you don't, then you'll never know if you can do it or not. And I think when starting anything,
Yeah.
you can't not care about what people think, right? I think that's just not realistic, especially if you're starting content or a podcast, diba? Because you do care, because you want people to listen.
Yeah.
You want people to engage with your posts, right? It's not about not caring. It's about what are you going to do with what people are saying? Are you going to believe in yourself? Are you going to take in the criticism?
Yeah.
Are you gonna let it derail you? Are you gonna let it fuel you? But it means you care kasi.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess you just have to kind of go for it.
Yeah. And I like thanks for that reminder. Kasi nga parang a lot of people when super funny when people try to give like advice then for like content creators na dapat wala kang pakialam. But I think at the very core, may pakikik kaya ka nga nagpo-post eh. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why you want to post is so that a lot of people will see it.
Exactly.
And a lot of people will
Yeah.
like. So I think the nature of like social media is
It's about caring.
It's about caring. You really care about
Yeah.
the stuff that you put out
Yeah.
online. But what I love about what you also said is that you gotta try.
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Was there a time that you also thought na parang, okay, like I really want to fight for this? Or was content the first time na parang, I really found something na I tried and I want to go for it?
Oh, no, this is the first.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, before I wanted to.
So yung mindset mo before, like
I'm just
trying.
working.
Just try.
Yeah, I'm just working so that I have money coming in. Because
Okay.
that was my parents instilled a very strong work ethic with us. Na parang, it doesn't matter where you are, you just have to put in the work. Wherever it is that you're placed at the moment. It might not be where you want to be, but you're going to work. And sa bahay namin, bawal yung hindi nagtatrabaho. Yes. So when I took the gap year, that was actually huge. When I said I'm going to quit work for just a bit, I'm going to live off of the little savings that I have, and I'm going to prioritize my mental health. That was huge for us because, again, we didn't believe in that. We only believed in you just need to work and then eventually you'll figure it out. But this was the first time, like content, it was the first time where I was like, this is what I'm going to stick to.
Yeah. What did you see in content? Like, what was, like, ano yung parang nagbigay sa'yo ng lakas ng loob to really like, yep, I'm still gonna do it.
Okay. So when I was younger, I told my mom I wanted to dance for a living. I started dancing ballet when I was 6. And I told her this, and she had danced professionally, and she told me no. She
Really?
said yes. She said no, and she said, "There's no money in ballet, and there's not a lot of money in dance at the time.
Yeah.
Meron na ngayon. Thankfully, right? But at the time, so my mom was coming again from a good place, and that shook me to my very being because it was like my identity. Like I am a dancer, and school is just for. I just need to graduate. Parang ganon. And I think that is what confused me for a very long time because if I couldn't be who I wanted to be, then what will I be?